When you want to work with a twin needle, you can go ahead and pick from any of the sizes that are available up to 6 millimeters wide. And that's the distance between the two needles in the package. This one says 2.5. So first thing before I do anything is I go ahead and tell the machine by going to the start menu, go down to the tools or the set menu, and where it says twin needle, turn it from off, and this size is 2.5. With that on, push the green check mark, and now I love it that when I pick the stitches, it's going to show me that there's what it's going to look like with that particular size of needle. And it's really fun when you get into the decorative stitches. So as we go into here, you'll see what they're going to look like. Some are going to look a little bit better than others. But for example, here, you're going to get some different, ooh, that's pretty. Don't mind me. If you find yourself sewing out all the decorative stitches, you're going to find that if you also sew them out with a twin needle, you'll have a nice variety. But let's go ahead and talk about how we're going to set up for this particular threading. It's a little bit different. All right. Oh, goodness. We could just go on with the stitches that we have selected here. Okay, we'll just go back to a straight stitch and... Okay, so first off, we're going to go ahead and put our twin needle on. The beauty of setting up the machine for the twin needle option is it doesn't matter what stitch we pick, it's going to automatically reduce the width and make sure we don't overstep our presser foot. Okay, first thread is going to thread or be placed like you normally do. Spool cap on, and then your second spool, just go ahead and put it up here on the vertical one. And what we're going to do is we're going to put them in our hand together, come across the first guide and underneath just together, just like you would normally do one. But before you come down here, do you notice there's a little fin in here? What I want you to do is separate the two threads. One's going to go on the right, one's going to go on the left. That is going to allow each thread to have equal tension when we go to sew. So it's really nice. Then just put them together and thread the rest of the machine as normal. Keeping in mind that the needle threader will not go through these needles here because the hole's not in the center. It's off to each side. So you're going to need to manually thread. I'll lower down my presser foot just to have a little bit more space in there. It's also really fun if you use variegated thread with these options. The combinations are really unlimited, and just because you use a decorative stitch in one size of twin needle, when you change sizes, they're actually going to look different. So you could technically go about doing this with multiple sizes and get different results. Here's a couple options as we've stitched. Just a straight stitch, that's great when you're doing pin tucks or simulating a hem on a stretch t-shirt, for example. But as you look, you're going to get different looks. And every time I stitch, I love seeing the results, especially when they're two color like this, or if you put one of those to be a variegated thread or both of them to be a variegated thread. Just go ahead and start off fairly simple. And then that way, when you go to stitch, there you go, then you're ready to have the right setting. When going to sew, go ahead and start off by just testing it with a regular straight stitch and make sure you have everything threaded up correctly. I like to start off sewing a little bit on the slower side, but as soon as you go ahead and get into the decorative stitches, and I love kind of even some of these basic ones that are utility stitches. For example, stitch number 21 is that gathering or bridging stitch. That's actually one of my favorites to do with a twin needle. I'll show you why. All right, and then we'll take a look at the back so you know what to expect back here. Okay, so there's that fun stitch. So even the utility stitches can look just as fun. Now, your bobbin is going to play double duty, so it's going to have to catch both needles as it's going by. So you're going to have kind of a zigzag back. You can actually use a twin needle when you free motion quilt. So pick a straight stitch and then come on back to, there we go, straight stitch, go into sewing information. Set it up for free motion quilting, and you can quilt with a twin needle, and then it will actually look like calligraphy because the threads will look like a ribbon as they go across your quilt. So have some fun with some of the double needles, and don't forget, they make triple needles too.